Thank you, Noel. Well, it's good to be back. That sounds like I've been really busy, but in truth, I've been sidelined for a long time. I broke my back in February, and I spent most of the last months actually in bed. And so I've been eager to get back to telling and get back to writing again, because as you heard, I am a writer. Some people slave over a hot stove, and we writers, we slave over our hot keyboards, or in my case, lots of times over my cold keyboard, if I can't come up with anything I like. And I thought I'd demonstrate for you what a typical writing day might be like for me when that's happening, using Snoopy's signature sentence. It was a dark and stormy night. Exactly. So here I am at my keyboard, and I've come up with this sentence. It was a dark and stormy night. And I think about it, and then I think, hey, that's not half bad. And then I study it for a little while longer, and then I think, no, it is. It's half bad. I don't like the last half. I don't think I like stormy. I think maybe it was a dark and gloomy night. I think I like gloomy. No, maybe gloomy might be too gloomy. And then I think, well, what? But maybe it was a dark and tempestuous type of night. I mean, alliteration is so literary, I'll go with that. And then I think, no, maybe that sounds a little stuffy and highfalutin, and now I'm starting to get worked up, and I think, no, it was just a dark and difficult to describe night. And then, thankfully, usually around that point, I am saved by the bell, which actually isn't exactly a bell. It's more like the ping of an incoming email. Because I can never resist looking, who wants to talk to me? And I look, and turns out it's Frank. And Frank and I have been going back and forth for a little while now, and Frank, he's not just anybody. Frank tells me that he is the king of Burundi. Well, the deposed, actually. He's been deposed. The deposed king of Burundi. And I know now I hear you sniggering, and you think this is a little fishy. And I thought so at first too. And I said to him, Frank doesn't really sound like a Burundian name to me. But he said, no, it's just because his Burundian name is hard for foreigners to pronounce, so he goes by Frank, which fair enough. And then there were some actual errors about his home country in there, which I pointed out to him. But he had a good answer. He said he's been, actually, since he was deposed, he's been staying with his brother-in-law in Burkina Faso, and things are terrible there, and so he can't keep up with things at home. And if I was with my brother-in-law all the time, I'd be going bad too. So I cut him some slack there. But the thing is, Frank has a problem. He has actually a king-size problem, because he has, no kidding, he has 150 million American dollars, which he has been looking to move into a North American bank account. And I happen to have a North American bank account. But I said to him right off, I said, Frank, I'm just a little known writer on a little island. I am not used to things on this go. There must be somebody who's better qualified to help you with this sort of thing. But apparently no. I am the very one that he most trusts to help him with this, which is flattering. But the thing is, with with all this, I'm not getting much writing done. So I force myself to click off that and to go back and get back to my sentence. And now I am thinking about blustery. What do you think? It was a dark and blustery night, which I'm liking that. It has bluster. But then I think, but that sort of suggests wind really well, but it doesn't give you the rain part that I was going for. So now I'm not happy with that anymore. And in the meantime, there's another ping, and I'm thinking, it's Frank again. But no, it isn't Frank. I don't recognize who this is, but they seem to know me because it says, "Dear Judy," which sounds sort of chummy, and so, "Dear Judy, do you suffer the shame of erectile dysfunction?" And I want to go on record right here. I do not. And I have never suffered from erectile dysfunction. But it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many males out there are going around saddled with the name Judy? And once my mind gets going like that, then I have to know. So I get on to Google, and I have to check this out now. And believe me, there are scans of them. There's Judy Bloom, and Judy Collins, and Judy Dench, and Judy Garland. There's even Judge Judy. And not one of them that I can see even has a Y chromosome, much less what you might call like an underperforming asset. I don't know how, and this kind of thing ticks me off, and it makes me angry really because, I need to write them a letter now and say, you folks need to look into better target marketing because you're wasting your time here with it. So I'm busy writing this, and in the middle of that, there's another ping, and it's Frank again, and I'm thinking, Lord, but it turns out he's found a way to save us sometime, which is a good thing, and it turns out he has learned that he can open the account over there if I just send him my social insurance number and my birth certificate and my birth date, but I'm thinking, like, that is a lot of sort of personal information to share with him when, in fact, I haven't even shared my possible penile inadequacy with him. And of course, he might be sympathetic on that. I don't know. Why else would he be living with his brother-in-law? Like, I'm not going to check into this stuff. But the thing is, I'm getting nothing done with my writing, so I think I just have to level with them. And at this point, I say, "Dear Frank, it is a dark and stormy night here. I'd like to help, but I'm just not up to it."